I think Daniel Dubois, he's on a roll. He's coming off of a massive win against AJ.
The thing with Usyk is he doesn't depend on his power to knock you out. He depends on his skill. That's why it's a tough ask, because he's going to...
Chris Eubank Jr. just sparked a wildfire in the heavyweight division with a bold and frankly fantastical claim: "I'd put my $100 million on Dubois." But no amount of bravado can rewrite the truth. In their first meeting, Oleksandr Usyk didn't flinch under pressure. He took a questionable body shot, steadied himself, and roared back with precision. Meanwhile, Daniel Dubois crumbled when the fight demanded resilience. Eubank Jr. is backing his countrymen, but in the realm of...
To mindset, In the last fight, they both showed mental weakness. Usyk took a 3-minute break.
Mental toughness and composure. Usyk is on another level. Eubank dives into the psychological warfare, pointing out that both fighters have been tested. What he glosses over is how they responded. Usyk didn't just survive adversity. He recalibrated mid-fight. Dubois, he folded. If this is truly a mental war,
It wasn't, but he still took that break. And then Dubois kind of crumbled under the pressure after that. So I think it's going to come down to who's mental.
The Ukrainian has already walked through fire and emerged untouched. Dubois still has everything to prove. Derek Chisora delivers the reality check. Beating Usyk isn't about improvement. It's about achieving the near impossible. You don't just grow your way into beating a master craftsman. Usyk has made a career out of dismantling bigger men with footwork, timing, and intelligence. For Dubois to win, he must become a completely new fighter. That's not progression. That's a reinvention.
Don't make no mistakes about this. He's fighting one of the best fighters. So he has to do something amazing to win this fight. Do you understand? So he has to go in there and do something which is
a massive gamble. Tony Bellew doesn't sugarcoat it either. He's concerned about Dubois' camp. According to Bellew, the energy feels off, disjointed, and unclear. That's a recipe for disaster against someone like Usyk. While Eubank throws hypothetical millions behind raw power, Bellew sees cracks in the foundation that could bring the whole house down. Adam Smith offers a measured view, acknowledging Dubois' potential and power, but his...
It doesn't have to be this. So everyone hoping and praying that he's going to get old overnight. The fighter's the first to know, because things just aren't going right in camp. And he would happily pull the plug.
Optimism is laced with warnings. Pulling off an upset against Usyk would take near perfection. And that's the issue. Usyk has faced the very best the heavyweight division has to offer, and he remains unbeaten. Dubois can't just have a good night. He needs the performance of his life. Andy Goldstein starts off confident in Dubois' early round threat, but the moment Usyk...
Any decline in Oleksandr, I thought he got better and better in the Fury second fight, so I expect Usyk to find a way, but Dubois can hurt him, maybe he can hurt him to the body. And look, if he believes like he did against Joshua, and he's tunnel vision, and he believes he won't be denied on July the 19th.
Name enters the equation, the tone changes. Like so many others, he quickly admits the enormity of the task. Usyk doesn't just take shots, he drowns opponents in movement and poise. He walked through Joshua's power, neutralized Chisora's pressure, and dismantled Gassiev and Briedis. Dubois' best shot is landing something big early. But how do you hit what you can't find? The puncher's chance sounds good until you stack it against Usyk's resume. Chaos doesn't beat calculation when the calculator rewrites the equation mid-fight. Even Eddie Hearn, who's made a living hyping underdogs, chooses his words carefully. Dubois could win, not should. That one word speaks volumes. Dubois has been inactive since the Parker fight collapsed. That's not just unfortunate. It's dangerous when your next opponent is Usyk. Meanwhile, Usyk has stayed sharp, focused, and active. He doesn't wait for the perfect scenario. He creates it. Hearn's subtext: everything has to go right for Dubois, and Usyk has to have an off night. But Usyk...
With this one, if Daniel Dubois gets in early, I think he could take him out. But then all of a sudden you start talking about Oleksandr Usyk. Some people talk about how great he's compared to some of the best we've ever seen at heavyweight. And all of a sudden, that...
Usyk doesn't give you off nights. He adapts mid-fight and takes control. Johnny Nelson questions whether Usyk is still fully motivated. But that feels like a reach. This is a man who unified cruiserweight, then conquered heavyweight elites. Calm doesn't mean careless. Usyk has never looked unfocused. He's a silent storm. If anyone risks fading, it's not the fighter who dominated their last meeting. Carl Froch enters with a mixed message. He praises Dubois' growth and hints that Usyk should consider retirement while still on top. But Usyk hasn't shown signs of slipping. Froch's suggestion feels more like wishful thinking than sound advice. Dubois may have matured, but one decent performance against Jarrell Miller doesn't prove you're ready for Usyk. The Ukrainian continues dissecting top-tier opponents with surgical finesse. Frank Warren pushes the narrative of transformation. Dubois, no longer a confused kid, is now a focused man. But that transformation hasn't been tested at the highest level. Against Usyk, Dubois had his moment, a controversial low blow.
I mean, a little bit of inactivity because of the fight falling through against Joseph Parker, but, you know, it's exciting. And I think...
Usyk recovered and seized control. That exchange told the real story of resolve versus fragility. You don't prove growth by beating fading names. You prove it in the trenches against the elite. Simon Jordan gives perhaps the most balanced take. He sees Dubois' improvement but never loses sight of Usyk's class. Jordan reminds us what sets Usyk apart: control, rhythm, artistry. He's not just a winner, he's a conductor. Dubois can bring war, but Usyk will dictate the pace and location. Control beats chaos almost every time. You don't fight Usyk, you enter his chessboard. Duke McKenzie cuts to the truth. If this fight were against anyone else, Dubois might be the favorite. That's a testament to Usyk's uniqueness. Dubois has improved, yes, but against Usyk, that's not enough. He must be braver, smarter, sharper, and stronger, all at once. And that kind of leap in ability usually takes years, not months. George Fox keeps it technical. Dubois has
already. He's Usyk talking like that. He's got 1 foot out already. If he's talking like that, that means, as far as I'm concerned, I sense his appetite is slipping away. He's very professional, gets the job done, knows what he has to do in the ring and in training. But to me, he's now 1 foot out.
Power in both hands. But against a fighter who specializes in neutralizing power, that may not matter. Usyk denies rhythm, dismantles confidence, and punishes mistakes. Every movement is a trap. Every pivot a message: you're not in control. Dubois needs to find moments. But what happens when those moments never come? Usyk thrives on exposing anything less than perfection. Dubois will need to be flawless. Usyk just needs to be himself. All of this builds toward one of the most intriguing heavyweight rematches in recent memory. But let's be clear, this isn't trending because it's a 50-50th fight. It's trending because fans want to know, has Daniel Dubois truly been reborn? Or is this just a rebrand? Chris Eubank Jr. is betting millions in theory. Frank Warren insists we're about to meet Daniel the Man. But Usyk doesn't care about headlines.
And time waits for no man, as the saying goes. I just think that this is a fight that's exciting. It's a good fight. You've got to make Usyk the favourite, but it's a fight that Daniel Dubois can definitely win. Yes. I don't think.
Headlines. He's here to protect a legacy, not validate a redemption arc. He already walked through Dubois' best, legal or not, and came back stronger. Since then, Dubois has faced lesser competition, while Usyk has stayed in the deep end. Dubois' power is his weapon, but power means little against precision. You can't blast through a wall when every step forward is a trap. This fight isn't just about belts, it's about reaffirming greatness. Usyk is already among the all-time greats. For Dubois to change that, he'll need more than force. He'll need discipline, patience, and a masterful performance. Yes, punchers always have a shot, but Usyk has built his legacy on showing that intelligence, timing, and adaptability beat brute strength. Dubois might land one bomb, but Usyk will land many. He'll slip, counter, and drown Daniel in decisions and angles. So here's the question that looms over this fight. Can raw power finally solve the puzzle? Or will Oleksandr Usyk add another page to his masterclass in dominance? Drop your predictions below. Is it time for Dubois to shock the world,